Let's go over the phone lines now and speak to the Deputy Presidential Spokesperson, Shamima Muslim, to share her perspective on today's Independence Day celebration and the President's visit to the Volta region to assess the impact of the tidal waves on the affected residents there. Good evening, Shamima. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening to you, and thanks for having me.
Right. Now, there are some Ghanaians who are not happy with the way today's celebration went. That is, having it in the Jubilee House, open to a few people, and then denying school children of the excitement and experience where they have to march and represent their schools. What's your reaction to this?
Well, thank you. Perhaps those Ghanaians have not been adequately informed about the alternative plans that were put in place to ensure the participation of our children. Because in as much as we scaled down the national celebration and we scrapped the regional celebration, all districts today celebrated the independence anniversary. I'm sure your reporters from across the regions have reported on activities that took place in various districts to commemorate the day, which involved children at the core of the celebration. Even the national event was all about the children and the future of this country. All the performances were children and young learners who showed their talents in poetry, in song and music, as well as dance and drumming. So I am not sure that what we tried to achieve was to actually disenfranchise children, but we would all agree the hours of sunshine on children on a park like the Independence celebration, where a lot of children went through a lot of stress. I know children were also expectant to participate in those celebrations. Is not something we think. And if you speak to the broad mass of our citizens, a lot of people also did express concerns about that aspect of the independence parade. Into the future, after we have reviewed the process a bit further, I'm sure what is the majority view on how to curate a commemoration that is both inclusive and diverse, but that is also still cost sensitive to the times, as well as, nationalistic in approach, will be adopted. We don't have any problems with that. But for today, the purpose for which we wanted a scaled-down version was germane. There were good reasons for it. And at the base of it is that we are in an austere time that calls for austerity and prudence in the management of our very scarce resources. And so we are very happy at the way the event turned out. It was beautifully organized. It was orderly. It was streamed across the country and beyond our borders. And many people participated. And we are generally happy at the outcome of today's event.
Now, the President also made an appeal for peace in Boko and other conflict-prone areas. Beyond these appeals, what concrete steps is the government taking to resolve the conflicts?
In fact, one of the most concrete steps that the President took when he was sworn in is to visit Boko and to engage with the key stakeholders. It was also to instruct the Interior Minister to put a committee in place with the key stakeholders to begin to fashion out a roadmap. Look, the women, the children, the majority of people in these conflict areas are just tired. They just want peace so they can go about their daily lives. I mean, a once bustling trade town has become a pale shadow of itself. I don't think that this is what we want. And there is nothing on this earth that is not solvable. There's no conflict that, with commitment on the side of both parties, that a solution cannot be, found. And so I would just reiterate His Excellency's message to the stakeholders in this conflict to truly commit to give peace a chance. Look, the entire nation is going ahead. Children from other regions are going ahead. Education and other opportunities for the children in these communities, for the women who are mostly left behind as the young people flee from this conflict zone are being left behind. And so I don't think that is the legacy the leaders of both sides today want to leave for their children, and generations after them.
All right. Now, the president, after the 68th Independence Day celebration, also moved to the Volta region, K2 South to be precise. How would you describe the impact of the tidal waves on residents there?
You have shown your viewers the visual. It's heartbreaking. We have seen it over and over again. There seems to be no solution to this problem that has been persistent, that has befallen, the inhabitants of those affected towns. I think that it is time for leadership to find a long-lasting solution to this problem. And when disasters like this recur, I think the immediate intervention is to ease the hardships, and that's why His Excellency didn't stay 1 minute. Immediately after the SITMAT commemoration, he complained to the area to ascertain for himself. This is how involved he wants to be in the welfare of the people who have put him in this position of service to resolve their problems. And so he went with a few relief items to ease the immediate, burden and hardship. But again, as he reiterated, the longer term solution is to ensure that this sea defense wall is built. But even also to look at the effects of the climate change we continue to speak about, but, perhaps are not investing in the interventions that will curb the negative effects of climate change on, our communities, as we have seen with the unusual rainfall pattern, the devastation of our water bodies, our river bodies, the source of our potable water. I mean, these are all problematic areas, and that's why he appointed a Minister of State in charge of climate change, so we can look, seriously at the effects of climate change in our country and the ways that the effects manifest themselves across different, geographical locations or regional locations, and figure out a long-term solution. So he is committed to finding a long-term, solution to this problem. And there are various ministers that are all involved in trying to find a permanent solution to the matter.
Residents were assured that the second phase of the Bleku Sea Defense project will be included in the budget. Are there clear timelines on when work or the project will start once the budget is read next week?
I'm sure I will not be able to give you those clear timelines, but once the budget is read and we see the real commitments to those projects in time after the budget has been read, I am sure the various sector ministers who will be in charge of those projects would provide us further details on how that project would pan out.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Shamima Muslim, who is a deputy presidential spokesperson. You are still watching the Channel One newsroom. I am Zoe Abubedu.